Hello everyone. Today I will try to create one mobile app using the waylay platform. But that won't be the mobile app that you expect to see from a mobile app developers if you like. So we'll try to make a mobile app in the cloud and use only limited resources from the mobile itself. So like many other users, I'm pretty much annoyed when the app asks me to get access to my credentials, to my contacts and stuff like that. So the only thing that I will be using from the phone is location and a unique ID that will be associated by a user of the phone. The app that I'm gonna create will be about shopping, and what I want to do is to send a person a favorite shopping item based on the weather forecast at that moment in time. So in order to do that, the only thing that I will need from the mobile application itself is the location and the ID of that user. In order to do that, I will use the runtime location sensor that you can find here. So let me quickly go with you over this sensor. I will use the waylay util package to calculate the distance between 2 points. You can write it in the script itself, but we have a small utility function which allows you to calculate the distance based on the latitude and longitude. I will use the configure distance to see how close I need to be to the address before I'm announced to be within a range. And then I will also send as raw data the calculated distance, configured distance, and 4 coordinates of 2 locations. Like in many cases, you do not need always to pull a specific API because some things are not changed between 2 invocations. In this particular case, the shop does not move between collections, hopefully. So once you successfully get the longitude and latitude of the shop, next time will be in the cache for you provided by the Veselin platform. For the runtime location, that needs to be passed to us by the application itself, by the mobile application. So we will need to rely on the Veselin platform to provide us with this information. That's what you see here from the global context. We'll try to fetch the longitude and latitude. And now finally, let's see the code. And if I have the runtime, if I don't have it, I will just say location is not available, cannot calculate. If that is present, then I will try to calculate the distance. Now, if the configured longitude and latitude are not present, then I will go back to the global settings to fetch one specific API key. Then I will compute the longitude and latitude and then again calculate the distance. So only the very first time when the runtime locations is available, I will go through that piece of code. Otherwise, I will always end up in this piece of code which will compare the runtime distance with the configured one. Now let's see that in practice. So we can always test one sensor at a time. Now this one is a little bit tricky because we need a runtime location. So what I need to do now is to put here a distance. I'm about 6 kilometers, a little bit less than that from one shopping mall in Ghent. So this is what I'm going to put here. So this is the address of the shopping mall and distance from it. And I need to start the task. And like I said, we need to know to which resource we're going to push this information. So when I start the task, I will start it with the resource name, which is equal to this ID. And then I will need through the mobile app to push the runtime location associated with this resource ID. To mimic the mobile app here, I'm just going to do one REST post call. And like you see here, I will be pushing actually the latitude and the longitude, which corresponds to my exact location right now. And as you see here, I use the same resource as I have put it in the task. What I see here is that I am within the distance from the this shop, and if I go back into the raw data, I will see that I have pushed indeed two variables into the context. And if I'm interested in one specific metric, in this case the distance, I will see that I'm just about less than 6 kilometers from that shop. Now that we have tested that, we can go to the next piece of this application, and this is about the customer data itself. For that, I use the Mongo Lab, a cloud Mongo database, and I have a small customer database here, which is something that typically you have in every shop. You have the name of the user, you have his phone number, address, email, and stuff like that. So this is typically that you would not expect the mobile app developer to ask again the same customer, because you have it already in a customer database. So let's see how that sensor has been implemented. Let's go back to the sensors. Check here, I have a demo customer, and what you see here is that I will use from the global settings, I will use the token of the Mongo Lab platform. Then I will expect to have a customer ID available to me at the moment I start a sensor, and then I will simply fetch from the database the users that actually match that customer ID. So if you remember, here I had this resource in my database, so let's test it here. If we give it this number, we will get back my name, phone number, email, and stuff like that. And the last thing that I mentioned was that we would like to propose to this person a shopping item. So again, we have a very similar sensors to the previous one. Again, we'll go back to the Mongo Lab. We'll try to fetch the shopping items, and the shopping items look like that. So this is an item, there is a URL to the image, there's a gender, whether this is for a male or female, and then for which weather conditions that items use the best. Here I will have again the same call towards the Mongo Lab. I will use as a filter condition the weather condition and the gender, and one of them will come from the weather sensor, so I will fetch the weather state. That will be my condition, and then from the customer database I will get back the gender, whether it's a male or female, and I will use that to filter the item and then send it back. Okay, so let's try to put this story together. I will take same sensor, 6 kilometers from the shop. Okay, this is the address. Then I will have a customer. Then I will have a shopping sensor for which I need a weather forecast. That will be this guy here. That will be for Ghent. Let's check what's the weather in Ghent. It's cold indeed. I will use this guy to provide me the state, this guy to provide me his gender, and finally I will try to find the right condition to send a person message. So I need to find a customer, he has to be within location, and we have to find the shopping item. Now, for debugging purposes, I will just get here something like this. Let me see what is the item that this task is going to propose to me. Okay, one more time. So we have to be within 6 kilometers from the shop. We fetch the weather forecast for Ghent. We'll have a shopping sensor. We fetch the correct item based on the gender of the customer and based on the temperature. And finally we'll see whether we can trigger that favorite item to be proposed to that person. So again, I will start task in debug mode. I will use the same resource ID, so when you start a task you can provide the resource ID. That will be used by both the runtime location to associate the proper runtime location to it, but also to associate the right customer from the database. As I do that, what we can see here now is that most of things will be known by the system, and that will be the customer, that will be the weather, that will be the shopping item, because now I have the weather forecast and I know the customer. Nevertheless, I'm not going to propose yet to the customer to go shopping because he is not close to that shop. Now if I push the location, let's see again, now it should, alright, so I get an item jacket because it is cold and I'm a male, so I'm going to get a proposed item, the jacket. Now if I want to show you one more thing here is that I have saved this template because I have one more thing to show, and to save some time I will just open it this way. I will do one more thing in this use case. I will use the weather from the radar station that actually can find whether it's going to be rainfall within 2 hours time, and then also send a tweet to buy an umbrella. People in Belgium normally do not wear umbrella, but if it's a stormy weather, like everybody else, they're searching for the cover. So it will be the same use case. I'm gonna send myself an email with the shopping item and the URL to the image. It will be sent to the customer email that is found in the customer database, and finally you will get also the tweet whether or not to buy umbrella, providing that here it's a rain or storm, and that's what you can actually see here. Now as a matter of fact, right now it's not raining, so I'm not gonna get a tweet for the umbrella, but doesn't matter. Let's just try to see now this template end to end. Again, we will need to start it with the proper resource ID. Okay, and here we go. Now, one thing I didn't say is that the radar station will check for the runtime location of this person. So, like I said, this is really about the temperature of Kent, but this guy is going to estimate the rainfall of the person that is getting the phone. So it's like moving target weather forecast, and we see that we have all information about these two because we still have not received the real-time coordinates of that person. So let me push that, and now let's see what happens. Alright, so I'm out of the shop because of course I'm 5.6 kilometers and not 6 kilometers from the shop. Let me stop that and do it one more time. This is a real demo. Let me do it quickly one more time, and here we go again. And now that I have extended the diameter to 6 kilometers, I should be within proximity of the shop, and I should receive the email. Let us wait for that. Alright, so you see here a little icon, and by now I should have received the email with the proposed item for a cold weather. And you see also here that now I have estimated the rainfall for the next 2 hours for Ghent, which is dried, so I'm not gonna receive the tweet. Now if I go back here in my email, I should by now receive the mail from the shop with a message, hello, how about a jacket, and have a look here, and that should be the shopping item for myself. So with this I will finish this presentation, and in the future you can expect more of such use cases. They won't be that simple like introduction videos, so if you have more questions just shoot a mail or check the particular videos on some features like runtime location, global setting and stuff like that. Thank you very much, and till next time.